Morning, welcome back to another vid. This is going to be an exclusive Xbox One pickup vid. I've got 5 games and a peripheral down here, which I'll grab. And it's a controller. Sneak preview there. Spoiler alert. So, yeah, I love the Xbox One. I do love the PS4 as well. You can see it down there. No, there we are. I always do that every time. So, yeah, I've got several games for it, and I do love the PlayStation 4. And I love the Xbox One. I've got no real loyalty to either system. At this moment in time, obviously for this vid, I'm buying Xbox One games. But, you know, it really depends. In the past, I've prioritised the PS4, and I'm sure I will do in the future. Often, for me, it comes down to 2 factors. One of them is which version is the cheapest. I mean, obviously, well, 3 factors, I guess. Is there a better version? Is there a definitively better version? And if there is, I'll get that one. But really, it's which one is the cheapest, and also what my friends playing. If I've got a batch of friends who are, you know, playing on the Xbox One, then I'll get the PS4 one to avoid them. No, I'm joking. Obviously, I'll get the Xbox One version. And if they've got the PS4 version of the game, I'll buy that so I can play online with them. So I've got no real loyalty. I love both systems, but I do go through phases of prioritising one over the other. Today, like I said, it's the Xbox One. Next time or sometime in the future, you'll probably, definitely, will see me going insane on the PS4. Just the way it works. It doesn't really bother me. It's the same game, ultimately. And all this, you know, nonsense about, you know, 1080p versus 900 or whatever, 60 frames a second versus like 58, like you bloody know. It's really, really childish, but what can you do? It's just one of those things. Just get on with it. It's a little bit silly for me. But there we are. So the first thing I'm going to start with, like I say, is the Xbox One controller. And I've had this obsession lately with Xbox One controllers. I showed one going back a few months that I bought, and that was the Luna White one. And that was the best part of sort of $70 or whatever it was. This was around about 50, so not cheap, these things. Covered forces, like I say, and I'll take it out. In fact, let me do a little bit of a tour on the box. You don't really need to see this, but you're going to, whoa, Jesus Christ, cat-like reflexes. And opens up, and then we get it out. You can't really see a great deal, I guess, in terms of detail, but you can pretty much tell it's that camouflage, grey, black, silver tone to it, and I really like it. It feels really tight, the triggers and the buttons, and I just love the Xbox One controller. I know a lot of people prefer the PS4 one, and that's fine. I like the PS4 one, but I probably would pick the Xbox One controller. It just feels sturdier, and I like the fact that it's got these grips on the side as well, whereas the PS4 one's a bit flat. You know, I like it. I'm used to it. It's not a problem. I just probably would prefer the Xbox One controller, but whatever, it doesn't really matter. They both do a really good job. So 5 games, like I say. I'm going to start with the one which is sealed, so therefore, obviously, I haven't played it, but I know what it's about, and I've played the franchise for a long, long time. The reason I bought it now, and the reason it's still sealed, is because, well, 2 reasons, really. One, because I'm still playing one of the older games in the series on the Xbox One. So I thought, well, I don't really want to jump straight into this, although I probably will within the next sort of few days or a couple of weeks or whatever. But also, 2, what's the other reason? There was another reason. Oh yeah, that's it, because it was cheap, basically. You know, when it first came out, like many other games, it was, you know, best part of $60 retail. I thought, there's no way I'm going to pay that, because I'm playing the other one and the price is definitely going to come down. But I had an opportunity to grab this brand new sealed for $20, and I thought, well, I may as well buy it now, because even if I wait the best part of, you know, 4, 5, 6 months, it's probably not even going to be $20 then, to be honest. Maybe 25, 30. So I thought it's a really good opportunity, and I went ahead and I bought it. And it's Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Glare, as per usual, on the screen. There's the side. You can't even really work that out. Bloody hell, it's terrible. Unless you can see better quality than me, but with the light that I'm seeing, it looks pretty bad. So yeah, pretty standard, really. Grey and white background. Now, there's been a few games of late which have started to have a little bit more colour in. I think one of them that I've got here has, well, yeah, a tiny bit of like kind of yellow and blue on there. But generally, it's that kind of grey, white background, which I'm never happy with, never will be. But at the same time, it looks kind of cool and artistic and uniformed. Game of opinions, isn't it? But I'd probably say I prefer the PS4 cases, but it doesn't really matter. But yeah, Assassin's Creed. What I really like about this, even though I've not played it, obviously I know what it's about, is the fact that it's set in London in 1868. And I love that kind of whole, you know, Victorian era, you know, the industrial kind of revolution, as it says on the back. And yeah, so I love that era when it comes to history. So to play it in a game, I'm really looking forward to that. I don't think, from what I've heard, the mechanics have changed too much in this version, this incarnation of Assassin's Creed. I know they haven't in the one that I'm currently playing, which is Black Flag. I've also got Unity as well, which I've still not touched. Well, in fact, I started it, but played 5 minutes. But I'm currently playing Black Flag. And it's alright, it's not amazing, it's just decent, I'd say. But the control mechanism feels to me, exactly the same as it did going back on the 360 and the PS3. Nothing's really changed. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because I always thought it was a pretty playable game. But at stages, in parts, it can feel a little bit cumbersome, a little bit slow. And I still think it's got that feel to it. So it will be interesting to play Syndicate to see if it's changed. Maybe it's improved. I doubt it. Probably just plays like the others. But we'll see. So, yeah, next up, let's go for this one. Here we go. It's Rainbow Six Siege. Now, I've been wanting to get this one for absolutely ages, months, whenever it came out, which I think was like kind of November time. But I didn't. I put it off for absolutely ages because the price. Another reason, why buy it brand new when I know I'm not going to play it? I may as well just wait a few months and then get it, cheap. Now, this was $30, so half price essentially. I'm happy to pay that. I'm sure, again, in a few months' time, it's going to come down, to like maybe 25 at first and then 20, of course, and then even cheaper than that in years to come. But I wanted to play it soon, and I figured $30, which is half the retail, going back when it came out in November time, I think that was a good deal for me. So, yeah, glad I've got it. Now, the one thing I will say about this, and I'm not surprised, hasn't taken me by surprise to learn this, but it really is the kind of game you've got to play. I mean, if you want to get far, you've got to play with with other players. You've got to have teamwork, because without it, you can survive. I mean, I've done a few of the hostage hunts. Is that what it's called? Terrorist hunts, whatever it's called. Yeah, it would be terrorist hunt. You really hunt down the hostage. That'd be another kind of that'd be a weird version. So, yeah, I've played it on my own like a hermit, and it's fine. It's a good game, and I completed a few of the levels on the hardest difficulty setting. But without question, you're making it more difficult for yourself if you're doing it by yourself. A lot of selves there. So yeah, if you've got friends who've got this game, or you've got friends who are interested in getting it, definitely get them on board and do a bit of co-op, because it's going to make things a lot easier. But I really like it. I mean, if you've played the previous games, the Vegas 1, Vegas 2, and other Tom Clancy games, it's that same thing. I'll tell you one of the things, speaking of the PS4 and the Xbox One, that I like about the Xbox version, or Xbox One version. If you can see at the bottom there, probably can't work it out, but it basically comes with two, free games, like kind of are free, I guess. And it's Vegas 1 and Vegas 2, speak of the devil. And this is what I like about the Xbox, because it's got, to a degree at the moment anyway, it's backwards compatible with 360 games. And these two are backwards compatible. So they basically come with the game. They are downloadable games, so if you don't like the digital stuff, you're not going to like that. But I really like the fact that it's included. Obviously, the PS4 version doesn't come with that, because the PlayStation 4 isn't backwards compatible. Although it probably is, they just don't want to. They don't want to do it, which is a bit of a scam, really. But what can you do? But yeah, Rainbow Six Siege, really liking it. Controls feel really tight. It's a really tense game. That's the one thing I've noticed as well. Out of all the games I've played lately, that is definitely the most tense I've got. Just waiting for, especially when the hostage thing. I've done it again. The terrorist thing. I've got this obsession with killing hostages. I haven't really. But with the terrorist, it's got this little kind of ticker. So when you kill one, obviously it goes down. So you can tell how many are left. And that can make for a really tense environment, because you don't know where they are. And you've got to go slow, go stealth, and all that kind of stuff. And I love the fact you can blow apart walls or floors and jump down. It's a really clever game. And yeah, I'm really liking it. So if you've got it on the Xbox One, you've got to let me know. And we can maybe do a bit of a co-op. And I'll probably get it for the PlayStation 4 in the future as well. So I may even see you on that version. We'll see. Next one up is a game which is another relatively new release. I think it only came out a few weeks back. And I got it for $20 less than retail. So again, it was one of them situations where I thought, you know what? I can get it cheaper than what it's going to be in a few weeks' time, a couple of months' time, so I'll get it now. I've only played it for about an hour. I played the beta as well. I got this code. Makes it sound like I'm part of an exclusive club. Maybe everyone got a code, I don't know. But I got an email from Ubisoft to say that I was part of the beta tester. To test the beta if I want to do it. And I did, and I thought it was all right. Bought the full game, and that game is, without further ado, Trackmania Turbo. So it's basically, think of it like, what's the best way of comparing it? Like kind of a, think of a game that has like a lot of stunting, like a stunt car racer from years ago, mixed with a bit of Micro Machines and a kind of a little bit of Mario Kart in there as well. It's kind of like a racing game, but It predominantly revolves around stunts and jumps and hazards, a bit like Trials Fusion as well, if you played that, which is obviously the motorbike game. So that's probably the best comparison I can give. So it's Trials Fusion, but with cars, essentially. Yeah, so it's a decent game, very colourful, and that's the one I was talking about on the side as well. Can you see how it's got a bit of blue on there? Which is nice, you know, to mix things up a little bit. So, yeah, a decent game. Played it for around about an hour. The one thing I'll say about this is, despite hardly playing it, I found it to be really, really tough. Really challenging. It might just be me. I might just be rubbish at it. But, yeah, very challenging so far. And stressful. Got to be honest. Not stressful really in a good way. For me, anyway, not yet. It's not one of those games where it kind of stresses you out a little bit, but you want one more go. It's more like, that's it. I'm not having one more go. I'm knocking it off and putting something else on. So that's not a great sign, I guess. But I don't know. I'll go back to it, and I'm sure I'll get better. Practice makes perfect and all that kind of stuff. So 2 games left. One of these is a very new... In fact, this one is a very new game. Just came out the other day. This is another one that comes with a free game, as I touched upon a second ago, that the Xbox One has, because of the backwards compatibility with the 360. And it's Quantum Break. Quantum Break, which has made a lot of noises over the last, year or so. A lot of rumours. Not just so much rumours, hype, I guess, surrounding this game. And I've got to say, for me, it delivers. I've probably played around about a quarter of the game. Really like it. Initially, it's funny how the game works, because it's basically, you know, you're trapped in time, you're going back in time, you've got to figure a way to get back, all that kind of stuff. And it moulds a kind of full motion video, like as if you're watching a TV show in with the game. It's kind of weird how it works. It sounds really cheesy, because you break away from the game. It's not every 5 minutes or anything, it's like after, I think, every act. So it's, look at it like the end of a level, that kind of thing. So it doesn't get in your face. And it lasts for a while. At least the 2 I've seen so far have been like 20 minutes long. It's like watching a TV show, it really is. And the first time I saw it, the first time it came up, I've got to be honest, I thought this is a little bit cheesy for the first minute or so. But I've got to be honest, even more honest, and say that it hooks you. It really does. You're watching it. You're almost, well, not literally, but almost the kind of phrase on the edge of your seat, watching it, thinking what's going to happen next. Really clever. I really like how they've done it. It sounds cheesy. It sounds a little bit silly. But once you watch it, you'll probably see what I mean. And the acting's really good as well. The effects. It is just like watching pretty much a big budget TV show. So I really like it. I think it morphs really well, blends really well into the game. The mechanics of the game are really good as well. I think one of the things I read, at least by one reviewer, or heard on YouTube, was that the shooting mechanics, the controls behind it aren't very good. They aren't very stiff. But for me, it was fine. I liked it, not a problem with it. The only controller issue I'd have with the shooting mechanics is so much not really mechanics as such of the game, but how you access it. Like you've got to use the analog pad left and right or down or whatever weapon you want to select, which is pretty standard for most games. But I found it a little bit kind of I don't know. It wasn't quite as smooth as I wanted it to be, but it's not a problem. You soon get used to it. And it was probably because I was adapting from like Battlefield and Call of Duty, Rainbow Six, and all these other first-person shooter games. And this one does it a little bit more slightly differently, kind of. So maybe that's what threw me momentarily. But yeah, really good game. So if you've got an opportunity, if you've been on the fence wondering whether you should get Quantum Break, definitely get it. I think it's a really, really good game. And almost, I wouldn't quite say, or maybe, yeah, let's just say it, it's possibly a system seller. If you're on the fence thinking, should I get a PS4, should I get an Xbox One, and you weigh up the exclusives, I think Quantum Break could be one which definitely makes you, potentially at least, certainly consider the Xbox One. So that's my opinion on that. It's a really good game, and I'm not disappointed. So often these games, you get all this hype, and then when it finally comes out, there's huge disappointment. For me, no disappointment. I think it's a really good game. I'd definitely be giving it, at least a minimum 8 out of 10, probably 8.5. And that's only after playing the game for about 25%, like I say. So, but it's a game of opinions. And then last but not least, it's a game, I love these kind of games. They're a little bit kind of corny. It's Agatha Christie, The ABC Murders. And again, there's a spine. I don't think I showed the spine for Quantum Break. It's a standard one. So it's basically like a point and click, essentially. The classic with the mouse, albeit we're doing it with a controller on this one. And yeah, it's just surrounding Poirot, if anyone remembers the TV show, which only just recently ended, didn't it? Like a couple of years or so ago. I think David Suchet played the character from start to finish, which is brilliant. Now, it's just a shame he didn't play Poirot in this one as well. That would have been really good. He did, the guy whoever's playing Poirot in this does a really good impression. You just got to put on like a French accent or Belgian accent, haven't you? Really, it's the same kind of same sound you'd get from anyone. I could do it. I'm not gonna. So, but yeah, it would have been nice, I guess, for continuity for him to have done that, and for the other actor whose name I forget to maybe have reprised his role of Hastings. But instead, it's two other actors. But they sound convincing. They sound good. The game, I would say, is quite easy for me so far. Again, maybe 25% of the way in. But I love these kind of games. It gets you thinking a little bit. I love the environment. Again, I love the era, much like I love the Victorian era. I love this kind of 1920s, 1930s, whenever it's set. Kind of Second World War era. I love that. I love the fashion. I wouldn't wear it now, but I mean, looking back, I think it looks really smart. And yes, I'm really, really liking it. So it's a cheap and cheerful game. It wasn't full price, you know, it wasn't like $60. I think the actual retail is $40. But I got it for $25 or whatever it was. So there we are. 5 games altogether. Really pleased with them. And of course, I've got the controller as well. And the box I've kind of threw on the other side of the room. But there you are. Really good. And I'm really enjoying the Xbox One. I think it's a brilliant system. PS4's great as well. Don't get me wrong. And as I said at the start of the vid, I'm constantly going back and forth when it comes to prioritising. So there's no fanboyism going on. Absolutely not. You know, I love both systems, and I urge everyone out there, if you've got a PS4 and you've been thinking about getting an Xbox One, definitely get one to complement your PS4, and vice versa. You know, if you've got an Xbox One, get a PS4, because that's a great system as well. And that way, it's the best of both worlds, isn't it? So anyway, thanks for watching. Until my next vid, see you later.